Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Commentary's Magic Stream on today, Sunday, February 11th, 2024. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big Cheese is somewhere. I'm Arquette, and
Ivory Starlight.
And
Happy Sports Ball Day.
what? Oh, right. It's high quality owls. I require owls of utmost quality, masterwork owls. You might even say they were superb.
Yes, superb owls. I hear that apparently the best owls are from San Francisco.
Oh, are they?
I don't know. That's what everyone around me is saying.
I see.
But I can't, in good faith, root for owls from San Francisco because, I was raised proper with a belief in freedom-loving, big, muscly armed owls from Dallas.
I mean, we can continue down this conversation if you want to while we wait for Cheese, or we could talk about the Invitationals.
I've made a horrible mistake.
Yeah. Oh, we can't be friends anymore.
You heard it here first. Can't be friends.
I mean, that's how I feel. Go Red Team.
Okay. But we're actually talking about a different kind of tournament today. A tournament that involves more horses. More ponies. Cute, small ponies.
Our small horses?
Yes.
Excellent.
Diminutive equines.
This tournament, unlike the one today, ended some time ago. And so we've had a chance to look back and reflect on the decks that were played and the ones that we chose and the whole circumstances surrounding it. And we have thoughts.
Many thoughts. Okay. So we're obviously talking about the Meticulous Hawks Invitational. See what I did there. And just as a real quick recap of what this is, let's go take a look at the rules that were posted by Cursed back in the day. So basically what's going on here is the people who get invited to this, the Invitationals, need to produce 4 decks in 2 formats, Core and Adventure, and across a given format, you are limited to 4 copies of a card, which means if you want a pair of racks of sticks, that's too bad, because you have 4 of them.
Most unfortunate.
Now,
wait, the fun doesn't stop there.
The fun does not stop there. So as the rules document says at the very top here, new this year is a band selection phase, where all of the participants get to choose 1 card and a format for that card. And that card just can't be used in that format.
By them?
By anybody.
I don't actually remember how many, because we had to give a list in case multiple people submitted the same cards. Do you remember how many we had to give? Was it 5?
I think it was 4.
No, it was 4.
Yeah, Cursed wandered in and was asking some stuff about how do you handle fallbacks in case people's bands conflict. And 4 seemed reasonable, especially since it's going to be pretty hard to pick just, 1 card.
Much less pick 4. Thanks for reminding me what that stress was like. I mean, it didn't really matter if you did a good job of making sure that the first card on your ban list was one that you did not think other people were going to ban, or in some cases knew other people were not going to ban, then you were fine. And I think the pre-ban lock-in time was perhaps one of the most interesting ones we had in this tournament, as there were at least 6 individuals, if not 7 of them, who were more than open about their thoughts.
I thought everybody said what they were doing.
No, there were a couple people that kept to themselves, but I remember when I found out what Cursed was banning, I died a little bit inside.
What was Cursed banning?
He banned Lacking.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was monstrous. And then didn't even go and play like a bunch of Troublemaker decks, I don't think. I'd have to go back and review.
Well, and someone else, I don't remember who it was probably Hithrock. Someone else banned Buckball already, and then when I found out Cursed banned Lacking, I was like, oh, sick. We're doing this now.
Thorax did not like this.
No, but you played him anyway. And he still did okay.
It did okay. It definitely hurt.
It was especially interesting having to choose the meta between the two of these because there were known decks that existed in core that were incredibly powerful, and I think that was where everyone's focus was because we had just gotten out of Continentals. We saw what a couple of things were able to do. We saw what the lunch break Starlight interaction was like. We saw what the latest greatest creation outrageous outfit combo was like. And so I think there were a lot of people that were just kind of in the mindset of, well, I'm not going to let these things exist, and then they didn't.
And then people started taking out those really critical problems for, not having an incredibly good time. And then it's just like, you know what, let's all roll in the mud.
Yeah, basically. Well, okay, fine, combo's dead, so now what are we going to do? Well, I want to play
Find new
Troublemaker Control.
combos.
Yeah, find new combos. Theoretically play Troublemaker Control. Probably don't play Troublemaker Control, and then half people submit Thorax anyway.
And then, make aggro's life as difficult as possible. As you do.
Except they didn't. The ban lists were far more oriented towards, I'm just going to hate on combo, which, fair, right? Because it's always invitationals when some new janky combo comes up. Don't worry, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I did not mind the fact that the ban discussion was not entirely private. In fact, it was interesting hearing people commit to what they thought needed to go, and everyone kind of had a hierarchy in their head of the decks they wanted to hit, and you knew you weren't going to be able to hit all of them, so working with other people to try to hit as many of those that people mutually wanted out as possible, or at least to, handicap them, was pretty cool.
How much, horse trading occurred during this? I'll hit this if you hit that.
I don't think any.
I don't think there was any quid pro quo going on.
Yeah, it was mostly we know this person is going to ban this card. I'm thinking of banning this one. And then the person going, okay, well, if card A is already banned and you're going to ban card B, then that takes out, the first choice on my ban list, so I'll ban this one instead. So it wasn't like you knock this one, I'll knock this one. It was more all right, someone somewhere needs to knock these 3 cards, and then the rest of us will do what we want. And then it turned out that someone somewhere knocked 6 of those cards.
Okay. But the ban segment of this is, I think, one of the more interesting and cerebral challenges that comes up here. Because there's a lot of thinking about what you're playing.
Yeah, you could say it was an exercise in mental ponies. You'd be wrong, but you could say that.
And so, a week later, we have bans. So, Buckball Strategy, Surprise Concert, kind of a wild card. Lacking Lesson Plan, Miss Main, a card that got banned, officially later, latest greatest creation. Staff, Miss Main, the mayor's so nice we banned her twice.
Annoyingly.
And then Applejack, Captain of the Seven Seas.
Thanks for that one, Cheese.
There was a little bit of animosity around our captain here.
Only between those two. I don't think anyone else actually cared.
I was like the only one that ran a deck that would have run it.
I would have run a deck that would have run it if I thought that Catterjack was good, and I didn't, because like I probably would have gone Tempest Orange, but losing Catterjack made me say, no, this is too sad. And you showed me wrong and did it anyway, so. But looking at this, yeah, from left to right and then top to bottom, you've got an aggro hate, you've got a control hate that didn't end up mattering, but that's okay. You've got another aggro hate, you've got control/combo hate, farm hate. I don't know. What do you want to call staff?
Find a more creative way to confront your problem. Hate.
Sure.
I mean, targeted at farm, whatever, but.
And then in adventure, you've got control/combo hate and farm/control hate. So I guess the big takeaway from this is that everyone in this game hates a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And the game in general is just terrible, and we just need to completely scrap it and start over.
Bet I already have a new game in mind.
Do you now?
Yeah.
Does it involve horse conflict?
No, actually.
No horse conflict?
Nah.
Does it involve motorcycles?
I mean, we could go that route. I would love to watch Ara try to make cards with text that small.
No.
No. Okay.
No. I also have an idea for another game. The thing is, the only rule I can tell you is this one.
It's a good game.
Nah, we're not doing that.
It's a good game.
It is a good.
It's
game.
all right.
Anyway, so these bans had a rather large impact on what you can build. Like losing Buckball strategy is kind of big.
It really is. Losing this main was big. It just like destroyed so many decks.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, I already know someone's banning it in core. Guess what? You don't get it in adventure either. Find a new combo.
Just burn the world. Lacking lesson plan is important, but not as, I think, important as Buckball. Like, that has very, very big implications, because everyone... The meta outside of this tournament basically assumes that you've got access to your on-color cards with, like, 2-rec.
It wasn't just Buckball or just Lacking. It was the two of them together that really made it suck.
Yeah.
Like, because you've got other options, but now you have to turn towards Concerning Cutie Mark, searching, if you're brave.
It's going to sound weird, but the other thing that ended up hurting, like Lacking hurt in a vacuum, but it also hurt more as a result of Staff also being banned, because there's quite a few aggro decks that will sit there and prefer to start with Buckball because it opens up numerous options for how they're going to confront and flip. Cool, great, that's fine. Occasionally you'll run up against a Tempest player and you'll know you can't do that. You're going to have to sacrifice some of your methods of flipping to ensure that you can flip at all, or she's just going to block off your problem. So you run Lacking, and that's usually coupled with like the 3-entry cycle, maybe some focused attentions, but often Staff. Staff giving you +3 power and being able to confront a 4-power problem, it's great. Now your only option for things that could be confronted with 4 or less power were Searching High and Low and Concerning Cutie Mark, at least in core. And both of those can just be blocked off by a troublemaker, meaning you might be facing down an 8 if you lost the die roll. And that's real bad. It's
pretty bad.
It's tough.
In fact, pretty terrible.
So, overall, I thought the bans were impactful. I thought it was an improvement over previous years, where one of my few but notable vocal complaints was, if you wanted this to be a deck building tournament, why are you just allowing people to play meta decks?
I think this did a pretty good job of addressing that concern.
Yep, agreed. And that was
Not
all
enough bans. There were still a lot of meta decks.
There were some meta decks, and there were like sub meta decks, right? There were like invitational meta decks where people ran multiple copies. I'm sure we'll get to those in a moment, but you don't need to stop. You don't need to delete every archetype and every main that exists in the normal constructed formats, but just making them have to retool or rebuild enough to account for what's missing can make it a bit more interesting and can slow down things in certain places. And it also gave direction to the tournament this year, as in previous years, it was kind of unclear what the goal of the tournament was. And so by implementing this ban list, Cursed made that statement very, very apparent.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I think it's probably going to be interesting, not necessarily to talk about the decks that we ran, especially in my case, because my section gets to be very, very short. It is in fact the shortest. It's the same size as Pip.
She's short. Zip is short for Zephyrina.
Pip is short.
I loved that. That was great.
That was a good one. So let's each pick a. No, dropping things.
What have you broken?
Plush care. Sorry, where were we? Yes. Let's each grab a deck and from Invitationals and just take a look at it. Not our own, or maybe one of our own. I don't know. Whatever. But let's just grab one and take a look here. So you want to go first, GP?
Sure, we can go first.
This is a deck that you really enjoy playing this, I think.
I certainly did, as I ended up playing it quite a bit since then. So, core was relatively easy for me to figure out at least one of the decks I wanted to play. I still thought, even with the ban list, that Thorax was going to be in a pretty decent position, and he did okay. Adventure, I also knew that I wanted to try a lunch break deck, but I wanted to try it with Bluna. I wanted to try Bluna Purple with lunch break and some AT value, and I thought that looked kind of fun. I wanted to try a control list, and trying to work around both the ban list and the less than 6 copies in a format restriction was really challenging, especially for very essential cards like Tranquility. I tried a Burb list at first. I tried the Tempest Orange thing. I tried some other colors like pink white. I tried a few other combos, and just nothing was really clicking. I was really racking my brain trying to think of what I should do. Eventually, I threw this thing together. I had known about the interaction between Octavia and some of the songs, obviously, and hoped that there was enough there to allow Mill to work now that there was actually a win condition. This was the first chance to really try a Mill deck. And previously, I don't think I had used Octavia. I don't think I had used Twilight. I think I had just kind of gone for some more copies of Sweetie Belle and the 1 cost, 1 rec, 1 power spike and things like that. But I said, forget it. I'm going to give it a shot. Even without Miss Main, I think I can try that. Since that moment, there have been a number of tournaments that have come and gone. And this deck, more or less, has been played at most of them, in Adventure or in Harmony, with very minor changes. And it's not that I think this deck has too many tools or too great access to things. It's the fact that the win condition and the play strategy of this deck really hadn't been explored seriously before, because there was no reason to. It didn't have a win condition, at least not a good one. And being able to catch people off guard with how efficient this deck could be, especially with Octavia, and also learning key things about other cards that had kind of slept for a while, like what happens when you run an event-heavy combo deck and need to refill your hand. Well, Spirit Siphon goes from being a meh replacement of what was once a broken combo card to a pretty high value combo card again.
This is nice.
Yeah. Mill is tremendously fun, at least from my perspective. I am the type of person that enjoys playing this because I have always enjoyed decks where you have to give up something in order to pursue a non-traditional win condition or a non-traditional style of play. And Mill is definitely that. It is non-traditional. And the thing you give up is your entire ability to meaningfully interact during your opponent's turn. You can drop some of these cards and drop the song package or reduce it and then go for, some bailouts or some sudden closures. Like, obviously those cards are in these colors. There's nothing that says you can't run them. But you will drop the efficiency, and more importantly, you'll drop the consistency and the speed of this deck. And that is what gave it its edge. And one of the reasons why I've continued to play it since then is it's fast. It's very fast, and it's very consistent. Even with some of the worst draws that you've ever seen, you can get yourself out of a hole relatively regularly. And once you do, there's not many turns left in that game. Not really. So it was neat to see this come out as an archetype. I think it's a little concerning to see just how few ways of interacting with that there were in Adventure anyway. And that certainly led to some additional design philosophy shifts for future supplements and card releases. And I think that's a good thing. And it's probably one of the reasons why I continue to like the Invitationals the most is it's a high-stakes competitive tournament environment that people are okay going into and facing combo jank they've never seen before, and it gives everyone greater ideas and greater perception of the state of the game in a way that may not have been tested previously. Okay, I'm done waxing poetic about Mill. Your opponents are not allowed to have cards. That's it. In their hands, in their decks, doesn't matter. Get them out.
Get it out of here.
I mean, it is kind of the logical conclusion of Control. Like, I can remove your things, but you know what's even better than removing your things? You not having things to do in the first place.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Cheese, how about you?
I want to talk about Hithrock's deck. The which one was that? The Similo combo.
Oh, I think that's one of the ones we actually had prepped.
It is, actually.
I kind of forget exactly how this works.
This makes me sad, because I was going to talk about this one. But that's okay.
Oh, you were? You can talk about it if you want. I can pick something different.
I mean, I picked, yeah. I like this one because this is Hithrock sitting here and just being like, you know what? maybe this is Fishburb's time to shine. Maybe it's her time to break everything.
I think it did pretty well. Or, well, it went 2-1. Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
And I'm not necessarily even looking at this from like a record perspective. This is just fun. This is sitting here.
I mean, that too. Like that's the other thing, is this was a very unique thing. Has Hithrock even played it other than Invitationals?
I believe he has, yes. Although he's also got the the Harmony version of this that just straight up is like, hi.
I'm trying to remember if he made me bring these.
No, because it wasn't this exact list. It's the one with Joe that does the fire when ready thing.
No. The previous time he had me bring cards. I can't remember if he had me do this for the HithCon game. No, the HithCon game. Oh well, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, this is just cute because this is taking all of that stuff that I've tried to keep Silverstream from doing for years and just being like, no. And just let her loose, let her crawl over the stairs. There's a lot of Silverstream in here.
Because like this is alternative solutions have a whole bunch of problems in play as a dilemma. Keep confronting the same problem with Timble.
Yeah. And it shares, I think, very few cards with the other deck that he was running. So it seems like it's fairly easy to let this have whatever it needs.
Yeah. There was no, like, loop in this, right? It's just reasonably cheap, get a bunch of problems into play.
Correct.
Yeah.
Fire the Similo, laugh.
There's something to be said for playing a perhaps more underpowered, but also unknown combo deck in Invitationals if it means that it frees up all the best cards for your other deck in the same format.
Right, and the element of surprise, it really cannot be like overstated here because you don't necessarily know what your opponents are going to be running. Like, you can make assumptions. They might even be pretty good if you're aware of someone's playstyle, but then if you blindside somebody with some weird combo like this, it's like, okay, I didn't pack anything to deal with this. I'm just going to be in trouble.
And you know what? Sometimes that's okay.
I mean,
yep.
Being able to blindside somebody with this, a win's a win. And isn't that what matters in the end?
It's not the friends we made along the way.
Was Flash B legal in Invitationals, or did it come out?
Yeah, it was.
It was, but was nobody running the Flash B combo?
I mean, Pancake ran it in one of his decks. I don't think it was intended to be a combo list, though.
There it is. Celestial Yellow Farm. Was this one?
Yeah, that would have run it.
It ran it, and it had the Raptor Razor. Yeah.
Was it also Novo?
No, it wasn't going all out on it.
Okay.
No, but I thought this one was kind of cute. Not as cute as Hithrock's other deck, because running Magic Arena, the indisputed best card in the game.
No, we are not talking about the objectively worst version of that combo list.
Yeah, this was the deck that Hithrock played. I don't know if you have this deck listed, but or up on OBS.
This is, I think, your version of it that doesn't involve the Magic
you might have my version. Well, no, I ran Tempest Orange, and Hithrock ran Tempest Pink, and we had our third game was this, or maybe it was the first. I don't know. It was one of the games, and it lasted like, because we had 2 hours and 45 to do invitationals, right? and to play up to 3 games. And our first game, or whatever game it was with these decks, was like 2. It was 2 hours, an hour and a half.
I believe it was over an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And like, but Hithrock got value out of Magic Arena. I think he got like 3 AAT out of it.
Because you disrespected it. You had the resource removal in your hand. You had like a Flurry Heart in your hand or a Portal Effect or something like that, and you kept hitting color entry instead of hitting Magic Arena, and he kept getting AT off of it. It was hilarious.
It took him so long to go positive.
It took him like 4 turns to go positive, and then
It
he
was
went
longer than
another,
that.
and he went another 4 turns past that point, and you still let him do it. And I was just like, really?
I mean, it may have taken him 4 turns to go positive, but you know what?
Sure, but like, paid actors, man.
Do we need to have like the black and white montage of just being like, why can't I hold all this entry?
Why did nobody ban bodyguards?
I've really thought about it. Boy, that was high on the list.
I'm pretty sure Bodyguards was my second. This on screen, this is the Royal Tutor Miss Mainless combo that this is Cheese's version of the deck.
Yes.
Yeah, let me see what is it here. Yeah, running Granny Smith and Daybreaker. And then Bone 8 in case your opponent doesn't have a friend to play Granny Smith against. I think I did get it to go off properly in one of my games. But the matchups I had weren't particularly great for that list. Because that was core, or was that... no, that was adventure.
This is adventure, yes.
Yeah. And I think, because like against Mill, I think I didn't want to run it or something. Then
Against Mill, you ran it.
Oh, I did?
And it did not go well.
Yeah.
But you really wanted to play the combo. That was your reasoning for it when we did the commentary later.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I knew that that matchup would not be amazing.
Sure.
But there were some other times where I had to not choose it too. Like, it's strong, but unless you have discard hate or like basically combo hate, like ways to get rid of my cards, because there's no recursion in this deck at all.
There would be, but she's banned.
Yeah. It kind of needed a school shutdown or something.
School shutdown probably would have been good. Cleaning up may have been an option.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of white that you're playing outside of like the combo turns, so maybe not that.
Hmm.
It was fun.
There were a lot of people that ran it. I think there, again, you want to talk about coming right out of Everfree and seeing new things that had never been tried before, and a lot of people looked at the like key finishing play for those decks and said, I want to do that.
Yeah, 3 people ran it.
And then people in invitationals sit there and say, no, you can't do that. And they say, well, fine, I'll build my own combo. With barrels.
With Daybreaker and Granny Smith.
Yeah, exactly. And if there's any deck that will ever show you why Starlight Glimmer Magic Instructor needed to be banned, like it's this one.
Well, the Everfree version of it.
I mean, the Everfree version of it was core. this thing was adventure. You could be copying read the manual with Starlight as well.
Yeah.
That's
You had,
gross.
you had multiple hits here. That's the thing. Like, yeah, you had the lunch break, which would still end up winning, but like you could just generate so much AT value to the point where even in certain games I played against Bugle, where the combo finish was no longer possible, the game didn't end there because there was so much AT value that could still be generated that it's still like aggro.
I think in our game, I don't know if it was the one we actually played or a playtest one, but there was at some point where it's like, well, I could still get to read the manual and go off with Starlight, but I think I just didn't draw it forever, and by then you had totally taken control.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Ivory.
Is it time to talk about a weird version of Tempest? It's not actually that weird. A lot of these cards are seen in other Tempest lists. So I knew I wanted one of my decks to be just mono blue Ambassador of Loyalty farm. So I was like, well, I may as well run some type of control, and I end up finding out about this nonsense from GP during a practice game.
Oh, yeah,
So yeah, essentially here you get a citywide shield in play, and then you use Doctor Who's Zakora Interdimensional Portal, and the funniest one is changed to basically just banish things without having any banish effects.
hard removal in the two colors that don't have hard removal.
It's fine. All that's going to happen is my stuff's going to get... Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, I think the changed is the cutest one, because that card I think has seen zero play outside of this.
I mean, go figure. It's got a picture of Thorax on it.
There are plenty of cards with Thorax's picture on them that have seen play.
I was about to say, well, ignoring that. And of course, you got your tranquilities, you read the manuals, your last minute changes, your crazy AT values. And this deck runs what I really thought would have been banned but didn't get banned, is Trading Traditions in the problem deck. Though I don't actually know if banning Trading Traditions would have hurt a lot of the core lists. Maybe it would have.
I mean, there's a couple confront to flip mains. Oh, it would have hurt the adventure list, you mean?
Yeah, because this is an adventure deck. So the Trading Traditions would have been in adventure.
I don't know. Like, that's one of those cards that's kind of up there as far as defining the format, so...
Yeah. The downside to this list is it's so built around just targeting your opponent's friends. If your opponent happens to not be running very many friends, or you end up going against something that's a little bit more aggressive in its control, and then you don't end up getting any of your friends, that you don't really have a whole lot you can do about that. But it is a fun control deck to play, and it's pretty consistent if you are up against someone that happens to be playing friends.
I mean, that was the great thing and the unfortunate thing about that deck, right? Is if your opponent is playing friends, you are going to have just an absolutely great time. And if your opponent is not playing friends, well, you have Twy and Spike.
I mean, you've got the important pieces of GoHome.deck there, so at least make a decent showing if you run into a farm-ish list. But yeah, you're not going to have a fun time if you run into Heart Control.
That's okay. It is also worth noting that the clever things that you can normally end up doing with Zeroed Out and with Flurry Heart and even with Zakora can't do those as much when you have the citywide shield in place, so don't
do that.
Don't do that. You will be very sad. As I believe Pages would say, you will goozle yourself.
Goozle.
Yep.
I'll get that tattooed on my face.
You've gone through life thus far and haven't found an appropriate phrase to tattoo on your face until Pages said the word goozle, and now that's it.
Well, I've never heard him say that. I heard you say that, and now I've decided.
I get it from him. I learned it from listening to him, okay?
Uh-huh. Just shift that blame. Just, yep.
Yeah.
Well.
Overall, the tournament was a lot of fun. It always is. And, you know, unfortunately, it is also always a bit of a slog at the end. But to Cursed's and Hithrock's credit, but especially to Cursed's credit since he's kind of the one who puts us on, he strives every year to make improvements based on feedback from the previous year. So there's already plans in place to potentially make it so it's not quite as sluggish towards the end next year. I think the timing's also potentially going to change. It depends. It's a whole thing. Everything depends.
It's also only been like a month and a half. It's like he has time to kind of iron things out for 2024.
Monthly invitationals.
You can go have fun with that over there in timeout.
It takes like 3 months just to run it.
Yeah, it sure does.
Overlap them.
Okay, look, if your tournament schedule requires causality violations, in order to
problem,
you should reconsider your tournament schedule.
Nah.
It's just a little time travel.
It's still good. It's still good. Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing what next year holds. But for that, we'll have to wait to see what Meticulous Talks comes up with.
That's right.
And we need more events that generate TIA points.
We're running a Coco.
Which means Coco doesn't count towards TIA.
Oh, well, online con time then, I guess. Sure.
Ivory, you're already tied for third in TIA points.
I am?
Yeah.
Must be from Ciderfest.
As of 22 days ago. But I don't think we've even had an event in... We had started a Coco.
The only thing I've played in since Invitationals ended was Ciderfest, so it would have all had to come from that.
Did I don't know if this was before or after Invitationals, but did HithCon count?
It did.
Okay. Yeah, that's why Fizzband has stuff.
Anyway, come to BabsCon.
Yep.
Yeah, what's coming up? We've got BabsCon. I think, are we actually going to run an online con before BabsCon? Is that a plan?
Not that I'm aware of. I guess that's an Aura call.
Is there room to fit an online con in there?
If
I
you
think
run
a
it
month
in like
and
2 weeks.
2/3.
It might be a little tough. We'll have to see.
We'll look into that. I bet there's time to jam one of those in there, because we're just started week 2 of Coco. Yeah, I bet we can stick one in there on like March 9th or so.
Are you committing to that?
I said we're so. I don't know. Are you committing to that tattoo?
Oh, all right, everyone. You heard it here first. There's an online con on March 9th or so, as long as Ivory gets the word goozled tattooed on his forehead.
I've done worse for less.
Really?
Yeah.
Have some pride.
Can't be bothered.
Show some
Too much.
show some decorum.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, I think there's probably some time to get an online con stuck in there somewhere.
To answer the question in chat, Babs is not technically in April. It is March, 29th to the 31st or something?
Yeah. 29th to 31st. April Fool's is literally the day it ends. I'm kind of disappointed in the calendar.
Y'all are ready for our place again, right?
No.
Can you tell how much we look forward to doing all of our fun events every year?
No.
We love them so much.
No, our place. No. Where's Reddit? Where is Reddit's headquarters? It's in San Francisco, right?
Pretty sure it is.
Okay, cool. That means that they're in going and taping a strongly worded letter to their door range.
It's in the mid-market neighborhood, so we can go and storm the castle the day after BabsCon if we need to.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I love getting business trips. Go to good vacation spots.
Business trips.
Yeah.
Well, that will about wrap up our discussion on this topic for today. Not the business trips part, the invitationals part. We'd like to give a big shout out to all our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support. If you aren't currently a patron and you enjoy what we do, please consider donating. Doing so does enable us to continue making content like this and lets you earn some great perks as a bonus. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, feel free to reach out to us through Facebook, Twitter, or email. And if you're a patron, you can also chat live with us on Slack any day, anytime, especially now, right after the release of the next WoW phase. So, you know what I'm doing. Finally, if you're looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel, linked just below the stream. With all that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are, as always, Commentary is Magic. I'm, as always, Grandpaws.
Big cheese.
Arcat and
Ivory Starlight.
And Viscous Lidocaine disgusting.
You're a loser, baby.
that was a non sequitur. Anyway, we'll see you next week. 2 weeks. BabsCon. We'll see you somewhere.
2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.